Hello everybody, this is Todd with All Things Archery and Shooting. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, so I figured I would go ahead and do one now. I apologize, this whole COVID thing and work, I just sort of didn't have the time, but I'm making the time now. I did promise I'd do this video on these arrows, how to make arrows. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be taking these bare shafts. These are Easton Gamegetter II. I know they're old school, 2215s. Okay. These are, I prefer using aluminum arrows when I hunt with, because years ago when carbon first came out, I was one of the first ones that used carbons. And I've been shooting for a while, and then one day I pulled the carbon back and let it go, and the carbon exploded in my bow and drove, as you can see, carbon all through my arm and my hand. So since that day, I have not used carbon arrows, and I refuse to use carbon arrows. So it's kind of hard to find these old Gamegetter IIs, XX75s. Whenever I do, I pick them up from eBay or from auctions or places like that, or maybe new old stock from bow stores. This is a 27-inch arrow. It's already been cut to size. There's another video you can check on how to cut and size arrows for your bow. That's another video. Please look for that. But as I say, this is a 2215. This arrow shaft, when it's completed, will run about 430 grains with a 100 grain point. This uses the boning super knock, so I can adjust the knocks as I want to on these as well. And I have carbon inserts to screw it into. I like carbon inserts better because these carbons, you can screw your tips and your broadheads in, they don't loosen up on you like they do on the metal ones. Okay. I shoot several bows, but I'm making these for my diamond bow. It's rated at 68 pounds. It's got a 29-inch draw, and these arrows come out of that bow doing 329 feet per second. So pretty quick little arrow. 2215 take you all the way up, and the 27-inch size take you all the way up to about 70 pounds. If you want to get anything over that, jump to a 2216. I've got some of those from other bow, which we'll be doing another video on those shortly, from other bow, which is set at 74 pounds. That's a G5 Quest bow, and I have the same basic setup, except they're 28-inch arrows on the same 29-inch draw. They're using 2216s, and those run about 12 grains per inch. And out of that bow, they do around 310, 311 feet per second. A little bit slower than my diamond bow, but they have a lot more energy though, so we'll get to that in another video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you how to turn these into this. Okay? Now what I do my hunting setup, I do two separate ways. As you see, I have two types of arrows here. They're both 2215, as you can see, and you're saying, why are they different colors, and why the Fletching's different colors? Well, when you're in the woods at night or late evening, you want to be able to identify them first. So this one here, the orange one, I use for my small game head. I'll put a small game head on this one. You know, if we're shooting like raccoons and squirrels, turkeys, small game like that, possums. This one here, I use as my backup arrow in case it's rainy weather. Because I do shoot feathers most of the time, but if it's raining out and I'm hunting, I use these vanes instead, so they're not affected by the rain. It's basically going to be the same setup we're going to do here, but these are going to be made with feathers, and that's what I normally shoot. But I do carry one in my quiver when I hunt that has these boning plastic vanes on, so the weather won't affect them. And also these wraps here, you can see they're different colors, so I identify them in arrows so very quickly and fast to do it. Also in the woods, you lose an arrow, both of these are fluorescent colors, so they'll shine really bright, so you can pick them up pretty easily in the woods. Okay, so let's get to it. What you're going to need to do this, you need your shafts. These are already cut to size. You're going to need some vane cement, which this one here is boning platinum Fletch type. You're also going to need tip grip. I use this to install my ends with, which I've already done. I want to show we use. This is used strictly for putting in the inserts and putting in the boning super knocks. Okay. We're going to be putting these up with these here. These are white glow-in-the-dark arrow wraps. So if you're hunting at night, you shoot a deer, you shoot to the woods, you lose the deer, you lose the arrow, you can shine your light. These things just light up like a time bomb. They're pretty bright. We're also going to be doing these feathers. These are 2-inch shield cut feathers that we're using here. Okay. These are 2-inch shield cut. Basically, it'll be like this here. Okay. This will be your cock feather. These are your two other main feathers. These are 2-inch shield cut feathers. They're already been cut and everything else. So we're going to be installing these onto these arrows now. Okay. You're also going to need a good sharp knife. vein stripper, which I've already used, which I use that when I clean up my arrows. Like on this one here is an old arrow of mine. I haven't cleaned up yet. This is another video you see, so I'm giving you a preview. I showed you to remove all this and clean it up to redo it. And that's what this tool is for. We're not going to need this in this video, so I'll set it to the side. And this is an Arizona EZ Fletch. Now they do make one for feathers. I mean not feathers, I'm sorry. This is an Arizona EZ Fletch, and they do make one for carbon and one for aluminum. Well, be sure you get the aluminum one for it to work, okay? This is the aluminum model, alright? I also have a simple mouse pad here, which I'll show you why I use this in a minute, okay? And then we have some denatured alcohol. I find this the best stuff to clean your arrows with when you're putting on your arrow wraps, okay? Alright, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, I've also got a cold beer here to keep me occupied when I'm doing this. Don't you get thirsty? Alright, so first thing you want to do is you want to clean your shafts, okay? So you do use alcohol for that. Put a little bit on a rag. Take your arrow, and you want to clean that shaft. Just go like this with it, okay? Just like that. It cleans all the residue and grease and fingerprints off the shaft. Do the same with the other one. Doesn't take a lot. You don't want to oversaturate this. You just want to use a little bit. You don't want to oversaturate it, okay? So just use a little bit on this to do it, okay? Same thing here. Get a little more on there, okay? Again, this is denatured alcohol. That's what I use to clean with. It's the best stuff out there I've found for cleaning arrow shafts with. Works on carbon as well too, and it won't affect the carbon. Another one, clean this one the same way. Just you want to rub it nice and smooth. If you feel any rough spots, like this other rough spot right here, I can feel it right here. You can see that. That's when you take your stripping thing. You just want to go here and go like this with it. That will clean any residue or glue that's left on this thing. This one has on there. These you can get from any archery stores, about 10 bucks. They're great. Let's try it now. There you go. Smooth as a baby's bottom right there. Now it's what it's supposed to be, okay? Alright, and then you have my last one. I'll do it up same way. Just want to get it nice and clean. Make sure there's no rough areas on it, and there's not. Okay, done. Okay? Now, first saying, what is this mouse pad for, Todd? Well, the mouse pad is very important. I'll tell you why. When you're putting these arrow wraps on, okay, you need something that's pliable and soft, that holds it and doesn't slide on you. This does a perfect job, and I found a mouse pad works perfect. Also, this one has a logo from my company on it, and I find that if I line up with the edge of that corner like that, as you can see, gives me the exact amount of distance I need, which is this distance right here, which is from the knock in to the top of my wrap. That's the perfect distance, which should be no more than 1 inch, okay? And that just works out perfect. This one is, alright? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this one off. Let's get these out of our way till we need them. Okay. Now you have to use these I get from a bow supply shop. You can also find them on eBay or any bow supplier, but they're basically a vinyl wrap. This one's fluorescent white, okay? And I find that if you use your knife to set these on your pad, be sure you set sticky side up. You can actually move it around without sticking to your fingers and ruining the sticky part. But you don't want to get it on the sticky part, because if you do, it's not going to stick to your shaft right, then it won't work right, okay? It's going to peel off on you or come loose, especially if it gets wet or damp or humid out. So what I'm doing now is I'm just lining it up with this corner right here. Gives me a perfect lineup. Then I'm going to take my shaft, okay? Take the shaft, and you want to go to the edge of this, which I'll point to. You want to go to the edge of your shaft, which is right here, okay? Line that up with the edge of this, okay? Line it up with there, and then what you want to do, once you get it lined up perfectly straight, you want to push down and just roll. Now you want to keep your roll consistent and go all the way around until it finishes. And then once it gets all on there, there you go. Perfect. See that? That's nice and smooth that is. Looks that looks. Alright, perfect. There's one, okay? So that one's done. Now we'll do a couple others real quick. Okay. Do this one here. Do one, same thing. I gotta get it. I use a knife to take it apart with, because it just works better. I get these big stubby thumbs of mine. I can't get a good grip on it, but this works. The knife works really good. You can separate it from the plastic and everything else. Okay. That way you're not touching it either with your hands. This one's being, look at this one. If they're talking, this one's becoming a problem. Usually come right off. I don't know why that would be a problem. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Okay, now it's got it. Okay. So come off like that, lay it down. Okay, same way, use your knife to get it off your fingers. You just go ahead and move it around until you get it where you need to be at, just like that. Okay. Alright, done and done. Okay. Again, lined up with that corner, so you want to keep your veins consistent. It has a lot to do with the way the arrow bounces. If you're a little bit off, it'll throw your center balance of your arrow off, and you want to have your center balance the same all the way through your arrow when you're shooting. And that's another video I did talking about how to balance an arrow. Basically what you do is you balance an arrow with the full tip on it, and you should be, if the arrow is balanced right with a full tip, okay, it should, some false, depends how close it is, usually about 30% toward the front, because there's no tip on this, so it's going to fall to the back. Once the tip is on, it should balance about 1/3 the way up, so it should balance right there, and then you have a perfectly balanced arrow. Now, same thing, we're going to line this up at the bottom there, get a nice tight push down on it, be sure you're lined up perfectly straight, and roll the arrow just like that. And roll it around. There you go. Okay. Again, perfectly done. See that? Okay. Last one, then we'll get to putting the fletchings on. Okay. Alright. Open this up. Okay. Use the point, pull it down. Again, it pulls off pretty easily once you get that done. Lay it down flat. Try not to touch it as least you can, that way it's sticky, doesn't get any grease from your hands or your body. So it'll stick properly and won't come loose on you. Because remember, your fletching are going to be adhered to this arrow wrap, so it's got to stick to the arrow perfectly to do that. And you want to be precise, like I said. Okay. Now that's done. Okay, same thing, last arrow, just roll it on there. Drop our arrow right next to it, line it up with that edge, and just roll. Just like that. Okay, perfect. Alright, now that's done. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the actual way of mounting the fletchings on now. Okay, what I like to do is I take my feathers or fletching or whatever I'm using, and I like to pull them out when I'm going to need. So this one we're doing 2 green. Okay, really can't see that well, so let's put it on here. See it better. Green on green will work. You get 2 green. And then I use a tiger stripe cock feather, which is right here. Okay? Tiger stripe cock feather, okay? So, what you want to do is you pull this cap off like this, and it just pops off. Okay? And then you have a twist button right here, okay? You just push it in, and then the arms open up like that. Now, you notice here, there's a different colors. This is your cock feather. Okay? And the way that works, I'll show you in a minute. That's the way you would put your cock feather in. Alright? I make sure there's no mess on it. If there is, I take my knife and I clean the edges off. Don't need much, just a little bit cleaning the excess glue or stuff off so that it sticks fine. That way your feathers aren't going to not stick, okay? Done, okay? Now, good. So that's done, okay? Take your cock feather. Always put that in first. You drop it right in there. Now, the way you push this, you push it all the way down to it bottoms out the bottom. See that very bottom there? That's where it goes. Now, do the second one with the green one. Alright, your second feather goes right there. Okay, and then my last one. Okay, feathers are kind of tricky because you're giving it completely straight when you get them in there. Okay, now what you want to make sure is that each one of these feathers are the same distance from the bottom as the rest of them. So they should all be lined up at the bottom. See that point right here? They all have to be in the same spot, right there, there, and there. Okay, that one's got to come down just a little bit. There we go. Okay, now what you do with that? Take what do you do there? See that big club of goop on there? That's what happens when it gets on here to get it cleaned off. Alright, so that's good. Alright, sorry about that, folks. I should have cleaned that before we started this video. Anyway, let's say you clean each a little cleaner like this. This is a little paper clip that I've converted to a cleaner. You just run it down there a few times, it cleans it right out. But you got to have a clean tip or it'll make a mess. Okay. Alright, now back to this. Go ahead and open this all the way up. I want to check everything, make sure it's all where it's supposed to be at. And it looks like it is. You want to make sure they're straight. Okay, now what you do, you want a thin layer of glue, not a lot of glue. When I say a thin layer, it means just a little bit. And if you put too much, it won't stick properly. Just like that. Do each one the same way. Okay, boom. This one too, same way. Okay. Boom, okay. Now, you'll see how that glue is. You can see that on there, okay? Take one of your arrows, and you want to drop it in there till you find it where it clicks in at. Then you turn this, which is a key lock here. See this key lock right here? This key lock? You turn this to lock it in place. And then once it's locked in place, you put this lock cap on. The lock cap goes on. See the little dashes there? It goes on. It lines up with the ridges here. That's what dashes for. Now you set this up at a slight angle, and this will be dry in about 15 minutes. You do the next arrow. You do about, it's a little bit slower, but you can get about 4 to 5 arrows per hour with this. So it's by no means a speed way of doing this. I mean, I have multiple jigs like this that I use, and I do multiple arrows. But for the purpose of this video, I wanted to show you the basics of that, alright? So good. So we'll come back in 15 minutes, see how it came out. Okay? Alright. Okay, everybody. Welcome back. It's been about 15 minutes. Let's take a look, see how this came out. Like I said, when I do these on a bigger scale, I have multiple. I have 3 of these and 4 of these. You know how fast I'm going to get them done. I use our EZ Fletches, so with 4 of these, I can do over a dozen in about 45 minutes to an hour. So just repeat the same process over and over again using the multiple arrows on each fletch. So the way this comes apart, you pull the cap off first. Okay, set it down. The same thing is push your keyway lock up, lock into that little step holder right there. Just peel these down like a banana. Okay, just like that. Now, as you pull it out, set this over here, and as you can see, perfect. Look at that. Alright. Now the last thing I do on these arrows is I take a little bit of glue and I just cover up the edges on them so they don't peel up on the edge when you're shooting at the range or anything. So I put a little bit of dot right here, as you can see. Take a look at it. I'll put a dot here. That's right there. One right there. One right there. On this top edge. That top edge there. And right there. Now what that does, that just protects the edges of the feathers from peeling up. Okay, for multiple shootings. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and finish up the rest of these arrows now. Any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And if you like this video, just please give me a like. And if you want to, go ahead and click that bell next to it, and I can award you, let you know when my next video comes out. So I got a lot of videos planned. Now the hunting season's here. We're doing some infield videos of deer hunting and some hog hunting as well. And we do some butchering and a lot of cool things coming up. And I got some more Marie's going to be doing also. I'll be getting back doing those pretty soon as well. So again, any questions or comments, leave them down below. And I want to thank you. This is Todd from All Things Archery and Hunting. And until next time, folks, ciao.